Hi, spiritual viewers. It's me, Angie from Learn Love Tarot. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Lionsgate Empowerment Summit. And I really do hope you enjoy what we put together for you today as a thank you for your support, the love and the kindness you've shown us. We are really, really, truly grateful for that. So what I wanted to bring us today is called CHOGA. So I've taught yoga for over 25 years now. And, I started when I was 10. So I wanted to bring you something a little bit different because I know a lot of us are in a chair for most of our days. So if you're doing a lot of typing, that can mean a lot of shoulder and neck tension. Also, as far as our posture, if you think about when your rib cage starts tilting down, the shoulders start rolling forward, and then we get those tight traps down the side of our neck, and also either the muscles down either side of our spine, the rhomboids, start to kind of migrate and overlay each other, causing knots and sometimes even really painful triggers. So a lot of the poses that you can do on a yoga mat, you can also do in your chair, whether you are at work, at home, wherever that is. I just wanted to give you some options here to release some tension in the neck and shoulders, and then also helping to open the hips as well, because when we sit right where we hinge here at our hips, right where that bend is, those are your hip flexors. And what happens is they get shortened up when we're sitting, and then we go to stand and they stretch and expand, and that causes pain. In addition, we may have some low back pain as well, because what happens is if your vertebrae is stacked one on top of the other in your spine, there's supposed to be space between each and every vertebrae. And what happens when we sit, stand, sleep even, we start to compact that space between the vertebrae, and then that causes pain. So we want to do things, if possible, like forward folds, standing up and hinging over at the hips to help decompress the spine. Some people have a table where you can actually strap your ankles in and decompress your spine by hanging upside down. Really, if you have an old school A-frame swing set in your yard for the kids or something, that does just as well. If we're brave enough to sit up there and hinge our knees around that and swing backward. I know I have a yoga trapeze that I hang from often to relieve that compression of the spine. So I tried to put Lola's ball away for yoga. Hopefully she won't throw it down the steps as we're working here. Anyway, without further ado, what we're going to go ahead and start is just take a nice deep breath in, reaching your arms wide. You're going to retract your shoulder blades here. Take a nice deep breath in, expand your belly towards your lap. And then as we exhale, we just want to let our hands find our lap again. And you can start by just rolling the shoulders up and back. And I'm not sure if the microphone will pick up my snap, crackle, and pops, but you yourself may ask, who brought out the Rice Krispies? Because sometimes we sound like that, just from rolling our shoulders, right? And then what always feels really good with your hands on your lap is if you really push down through your elbows, extend your spine, and right away down the sides of my neck. I am feeling that just by applying pressure down through the bottom of my elbows. And you can even lengthen your neck and extend your head a little taller. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to squeeze that lower belly button and release the rest of your spine. Shake out those arms. We're going to go ahead and take another deep breath. Reach. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our knuckles interlaced right in front of our chest. We're going to drop our chin, take a breath in, watch your belly inflate, And then as you exhale, pull apart at the knuckles, drop your shoulders, and just feel how pulling at the knuckles then separates the scapula. So that would be your shoulder blades pulling away from the rhomboids, which are then pulling away from the spine. Watch your belly inflate again. And as you exhale, just let those knuckles float back down to your lap. Place your hands back on your thighs. Inhale, lift your rib cage up, followed by your chin. And exhale, you're going to start at the basement. So squeeze your belly button, pull your lower back behind you slightly, stack your vertebrae, and then your chin is last. Now we're going to go ahead and move into a swimming motion. If you are super, super tight up here, I love this one. You're going to treat your elbows like wagon wheels. I always see wagon wheels in my mind's eye. It helps if you have a chair without arms, or if you can push those down, just so you have a little bit more area to move in. So you're just going to start with a swimming stroke. Elbow's going to reach up and around. You can gently twist your spine, look back under that elbow, dive forward, and feel those shoulder blades start to open up, especially as you dive those hands forward. Now give your belly button a really good squeeze, because you want to keep your pelvis relatively still as you twist your rib cage, kind of like a sand timer, right? You just want to twist the upper half of that. And I usually do that until I stop feeling so crunchy. And then just let your hands fall down to your knees, down to your knees. Drop those hands and then gently pull the backs of your triceps as you extend your head forward. Another little neck stretch there. Breathe in, feel your belly. Squeeze your lower belly muscles like a zipper. Stack your spine again. And this time we're going to take the hands to the lower back. The heels of my hands are going to go right on my waistline. The fingers are going to face down. And then you're just going to use those as like a little cantilever here. Okay. So again, right at the base of your spine, give a good squeeze, breathe. And then on your exhale, you can lift up through the rib cage, drop the heels of your hands towards that low back, lift your chest, and you're going to already feel right across the front of your chest, your pectorals. And if anybody's ever had a rhomboid injury at the front of that shoulder, just be really gentle there. You may or may not be able to get those elbows to move a little bit closer together. Breathe in. Lower belly zips, stack your spine, and gently release that stretch and shake out any static energy out of the hands. Now, let's take a nice deep breath in. Already that feels so much better. Drop those shoulders again. Big breath. Let's reach up with the rib cage, expand your belly. And exhale one more time. This time we're going to reach to the back of our chair, tucking the chin. And if you're able, if you have a chair that you can hold on to, just relaxing across the chest, leaning forward, push your weight back into your hips. Oh, that feels so nice. Take a nice deep breath here. And again, we're going to tuck our bucket or tuck our pelvis, stack our spine, soften those elbows, and back up the vertebrae again, shaking out those arms. We're going to go ahead and move into the hips a little bit more. Now, if you are in a place where you can lift and extend the quad, extend the legs, squeeze that quadricep and set back down, you can keep just that knee hip height and extend, bring it in is a way to strengthen those quadricep muscles, because anytime we're strengthening the muscles around the knee, we have less knee pain. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start the poses that are called warrior poses. We're going to move through warrior 1, 2, and reverse warrior, all from a chair, okay? So I'm going to move my hips to the end of my chair. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate my body so that one knee is facing the side direction. And we're going to take that opposite foot back behind us, as long as you can stretch the leg, facing those toes to the front position. Okay, guess I'm going to start in warrior two here. Now, with the hips open, that would be our warrior two. Okay, but we're going to roll back to that warrior one position, angling that back heel behind you. And I just want to bend at the knee slightly, since I have the advantage of the chair, and just really press gently forward here through the hip flexor. Make sure to hold on to that back of the chair if you're not used to this. You can then take your arms skyward, relaxing the shoulders again. Nice deep breath here, reaching up. Go ahead and anchor that back heel behind you. Expand your arms back to that warrior two position and fan your toes to the front once again. Really reaching through those fingertips. And go ahead and hinge that back elbow. You can come to the hip or just underneath the glute muscle. You're kind of cantilevering like you were for that chest stretch. We're going to focus on lifting the front rib cage of that bent knee side rather than hyperextending that shoulder up. You want to drop that down, focus on the hips staying anchored and creating space between the hip line. Now relax those thighs. Just want that stretch in the side of the body. If that bothers your neck to look up or makes you feel dizzy, just simply look the direction of that bent knee. Take a nice deep breath in here. Squeeze that lower belly button and level those arms back out to your warrior two position. Let's go ahead and bring those hands back in. We're going to bring one foot at a time back in front of us, and we're going to move to the other side. So kind of get that one hip and thigh angled over the top of that side of your chair. This front knee can come directly underneath your hip bone. And since we can't exactly extend all the way back, if you have the flexibility or you just want to push through that heel, you can simply straighten and then soften that knee. And that's a nice hip flexor right through this front muscle here. But you can also just stay with that knee directly under the hip line. You can take our arms back up to that number 11 position of warrior one, reaching up the rib cage, settling the shoulder blades. Now your head can stay level. Or move into position two, reaching up. And if you want to practice some ab work and also some balance help, closing our eyes is meant to throw off our balance. So you can choose to close your eyes here, breathe in. Let's level our heads and open our eyes. Take your next breath. Moving into that warrior two, we're going to press that back heel behind us. Fan those toes open and open your arms to that warrior one. And again, that front knee is under the line of the forearm and that back foot is angled forward. Breathe, 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 especially if you're tight here. Let's go ahead and cantilever that back hand either to your hip or underneath your glute, looking to that long side arm. Inhale, lifting up through the rib cage, softening that top shoulder. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Relax your weight into your hips. Take your next breath in. Lower belly squeeze. Inhale back out to those warrior two arms, big reach here. And exhale, go ahead and heel toe your way back in, back to the front. Now, the next one is for a hip release in the back, okay, in the back of the hips. If you can, you're going to cross one ankle over one knee and just simply sitting up nice and tall. What we would love to see is that this number 4 shaped knee here is just really pressing gently away from this opposite corner. Think of one side of an X. And if you want a little bit more, you can just simply hinge at the hips, leaning forward, and you'll really feel that back glute say hello to you. So go slow. Nice deep breath, extending always through the top of your head, right? It's not about how far we can come down. We really want to focus on just a long spine extending from those hips to the head. Gentle pressure on that knee, only if it feels good to you. Breathe in. And I like to hold on to the shins, squeeze that belly button, push behind you with that lower back. And then we're just going to scoop or shape the spine a nice C shape and just gently pulling against your shins. You can slowly straighten the spine, press your heart center through those biceps, lifting the chin, big breath. And lower belly zipper activation on. Sink your weight into the lower part of your spine and stack your vertebrae. Shake out the leg. I like to say shake the meat from the bone. And we're going to move to that other side. Now, most likely, you have one hip that's tighter than the other. Right there, there's a little diamond bone. If you want to reach back and feel, it's shaped this way. So it's a diamond facing down with the point down. And that is your sacrum, where our sacral chakra lives. Okay. And either side of that diamond bone is the piriformis that connects all three portions of our glutes. So it's a little body part for big jobs. So let's go ahead and move to that other side. It might take, like, if this is even just too much, just practice simply just being able to cross our ankle over our knee. Okay. So again, sitting up nice and tall, make sure your ankle is outside of the knee. We don't want to put any pressure. Now, this is my tighter hip, and you can probably already see that angle is not as easy to drop that side. Just not having it today. Usually I am pretty warm before I do this hip in general, just because it gets pretty bad. So sitting up nice and tall, I'm just going to start to breathe and add pressure. Exhale, again, gently. And I like to sometimes gently press that knee away from my hip. Take your breath in, hand around the front of that ankle. Exhale, extend the top of your head forward. Pause when your back hip talks to you. Wait until it stops fighting you a little bit. Take a deep breath. And if the hip says yes, pull that belly button in, and again, extending long ways from the hips to the top of the head. And I'm adding just a little more pressure, but again, that is yogi's choice, whether that is a preference for you. I'm going to do just a little bit deeper since I'm a little extra tight there today. Take your breath in. On your exhale, pull your belly button, push back through your sacral bone. Let your hands find your shin. Scoop your spine like a nice C shape. And then there is a bone here in your spine right before you start the neck. And go ahead and pull up directly from that to straighten the arms. If those shoulders, the outsides of the shoulders there, we've got 3 heads of the deltoids, and you'll definitely feel those medial deltoids. And then again, pressing the heart center through the biceps, gently lifting the chin. Breathe. And lower belly scoops behind you, stacking your spine, supporting your head. We're going to go ahead and uncross. Additionally, you can take one heel in front of you at a time and just pull your toes toward your face. Press down into your heel. You'll feel that calf stretch. You can also rotate both ankles, inside circles and outside circles. And again, flexing the foot, pointing the toe, bringing that foot in. Let's do that other side. Extend the opposite heel. Pull the toes toward your nose. Breathe in. Lower belly squeeze. Relax those leg muscles. Let's get that leg extension. Outside ankle circles and inside circles. Coming back down to that heel, sitting up straight. Exhale, pull the toes towards your nose. Point and point those toes. And bring your feet back nice and close to your body. Take a nice deep breath in with me. And exhale, separating the arms. Last set of stretches here, really retract the shoulder blades. I'm going to scoot back, sorry about that noise, scoot back just a little bit more, although you really only need to be able to see my elbows here. And what I'm going to do is reach one arm down towards my spine. And that itself is a lot of stretch here for the back of the arm, the tricep. But if you want a little bit more, you can take 2 fingers around that elbow and gently help those fingertips reach towards the bottom of your spine. I like to tuck my chin here and let my forearm rest on the back of my head. I get really tight. Now these 2 fingers up top, if you're tight in your shoulders, you're just going to relax that top arm. It's only 2 fingers. Take your breath in. And as you exhale, drop that shoulder away from the bent elbow. Breathing in. On the next exhale, we're going to pretend we're flattening our shoulder blades and our elbow on the side there against an imaginary wall. You can also turn your chin and look that direction, and then drop that opposite shoulder once again. Your medial deltoids are pretty hard to get to. This one helps me a lot. Breathe in. We're going to go ahead and lasso our head through those arms. Extend that bent elbow arm to your 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock angle. I'm going to slide my fingers underneath the elbow. Take your breath in. Now come back to that imagery of your sand timer, squeezing the lower half. You're only going to rotate the upper half. Now, with those fingertips touching your imaginary wall, you're going to pull back with the opposite shoulder blade. And if it feels good, you can come back to that rotated stretch, rotate through that top rib again. You might like it better holding on gently to the wrist. Breathe. And we're going to lengthen the muscles of that arm by flattening the shoulder blades right behind you. Release that arm. Wide arms reach skyward. Dropping the shoulders. Squeezing the lower belly. Let's hinge that opposite elbow. Just reaching for your fingertips. Now, if this is screaming at you or that's quite enough, you can just relax that free hand on your thigh and just try to get this elbow and shoulder stacked in alignment as best we can. I like to add on those 2 fingers up top just to help those fingers reach down a little further. And let my chin come to my chest and that forearm to rest on the back of my head. Starting at the elbow with those 2 fingers, breathe. And slow exhale, drop that same side shoulder away from the hinged elbow. Nice deep breath. Lower belly squeeze. Let's lasso our head through. Extend that same arm. Slide your 2 fingers underneath your elbow. Drop those shoulders again from your ears. Now, you may not get very far with this stretch, and that's totally fine. That'll be your medial deltoid there. Take a nice deep breath. Lower belly squeeze, come back to your sand timer. Just the upper half rotates those fingers towards your imaginary wall behind you. And then exhale, pulling that shoulder blade flat. Nice deep breath. And just those fingers there feel like we're really lengthening the muscles in the side of the arm. We're going to release that pressure, and I'm going to come back to that bottom of the elbow. Again, rotating, squeezing the belly button, rotating at the rib. This time sliding just a light grip around my wrist. Breathe in, zip, and exhale, flatten those shoulder blades. You can gently pull away at the wrist. I love that stretch. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And relax that hand. We forgot that extra stretch, didn't we? I'm saying we as in me. So I'm going to come back to that chin to the chest, 2 fingers on the elbow. Breathe in. Exhale, drop that hinged elbow shoulder. Watch your belly inflate. Squeezing the lower zipper. We're just going to level the head and open that bent elbow out to your imaginary wall, dropping that shoulder. One more time. That's tight today. Then we can lasso through, bringing our hands back to our lap, shoulders roll up. Big last push down through the elbows here, and hopefully you notice that the sides of your neck are a lot less tight. Weight back into your hips, stack your spine, shake out those shoulders, and get ready to get back to whatever you were just doing. So I hope that helped you today. You can do one or all of those anytime you need to do them. It definitely helps, especially if you're in time crunches and you don't really have time to get up and down every hour like we should be doing. But there's some movement ideas there for you, and also to help keep the chest open and those shoulders nice and healthy. Namaste, everybody. Thanks again for all your support. We love you so much. Bye-bye for now.